everyone, my name is Snigdha Goswami and we are doing the NEET series. तो नीट सीरीज में लास्ट वीडियो में हम लोग डिस्कस कर चुके हैं किंगडम फंजाई के बारे में। किंगडम फंजाई के बारे में हम लास्ट वीडियो में डिस्कस कर चुके हैं। तो आज हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं PYQs, दैट इज प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस ऑफ नीट। तो नीट में जो प्रीवियस ईयर में फंजाई के ऊपर आया है वो आज हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं। सो द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन हियर, दिस केम इन नीट 2016 phase 1. The question says, one of the major components of the cell wall of most fungi is. So this is very, very important and easy question that we discussed when we were discussing about 5 kingdom classification, that chitin is the cell wall component of the fungus. So fungus का cell wall component है chitin. और ये हम सिर्फ फंगस में ही देख सकते हैं, काइटिन किसी और के सेल वॉल में नहीं रहता है। So this is very easy. Chitin is the answer. Next question. The next question came in NEET 2018. The question says, after karyogamy followed by meiosis, spores are produced exogenously in. So यहाँ पर बात हो रही है सेक्सुअल स्पोर प्रोडक्शन की, सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इन फंगस, सेक्सुअल स्पोर प्रोडक्शन। तो हमने पढ़ा था कि सेक्सुअल स्पोर प्रोडक्शन 3 स्टेप्स में होता है। पहला स्टेप है प्लाज्मोगैमी। प्लाज्मोगैमी का मतलब होता है फ्यूजन ऑफ 2 protoplasms. When 2 cells are fusing, only the protoplasm is fusing, but the nucleuses are not fused yet. So this is the plasmogamy. Step 1. In step 2, what happens? In step 2, karyogamy happens. Karyogamy means what? Karyon means fusion of the nucleus. So when these 2 nucleuses are going to fuse together, then that is called karyogamy. So after karyogamy, what happens? This zygote formation happens. So these 2 nucleuses has fused together. Now this is 2N, that is diploid. Before this was N, this was N. When plasmogamy happened, N plus N, but they have not fused yet. The karyons, the nucleuses have not fused yet. So in this state, we call it dikaryon stage, that is N plus N. But after the fusion of the nucleuses, we can say that this is 2N, right? So after this, what will happen? This is the zygote. This is the zygote. This is diploid zygote. What will happen? Meiosis will happen. Meiosis or meiotic division of the zygote. The zygote will go through meiotic division. And when the zygote will divide from 2N, it will produce 4 cells which are haploid, because meiosis is a reductional division, right? So it produces 4 spores which are haploid. This is the process of sexual reproduction or sexual spore production in the fungus. Now the question asks that after karyogamy के बाद followed by meiosis हो गया, spores are produced exogenously. Now there are 2 types of spores. One is endogenous spore. Another is exogenous spore. Right? So in case of exogenous spore, what can we see? We can see that the spores are exogenously produced and exogenously situated like this. There is no covering. They are exogenously present. But in case of endogenous spores, we can see a sac-like structure. Inside the sac, the spores are present. When this sac will burst, then only these spores will come out. Right? So this is endogenous and this is exogenous. Now in our question, we have 4 options. We have Neurospora, Alternaria, Agaricus, Saccharomyces. Now we have to understand which one is exogenous. So let me delete this first. Okay. So Neurospora. This comes under ascomycetes. Ascomycetes. In ascomycetes, the spores are inside a sac called ascus. This sac is called ascus. Inside the sac, the spores are present. So this is endogenous. Sorry. So this is endogenous spore. Endogenous spores. Okay. Next, alternaria. This comes under deuteromycetes. Deuteromycetes. And deuteromycetes, no sexual spore is yet known. So we cannot say that if it is endogenous or exogenous. Next is agaricus. Agaricus comes under basidiomycetes. 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 So what is the structure of the basidiomycetes and the spores of it? Let's see. So the basidiomycetes, this is the special fruiting body. This is the mycelium. So this is the fruiting body known as basidiocarp. Known as basidiocarp. In here, there are some structures. These are called basidium. Basidium. This structure is called basidium. And the meiosis occurs in the basidium. And the spores are produced exogenously. The basidiospores are exogenous spores. These are exogenous spores. These are the basidiospores. So agaricus, it is the basidiomycetes and it shows exogenous spores. So this will be our answer. And Saccharomyces, this is what? This is yeast. And sexual reproduction is not very much prominent in yeast, right? So our answer is agaricus. This produces exogenously. This produces the spores exogenously. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. The question is from NEET 2018. The question says, which among the following is not a prokaryote? So if we look at the 5 kingdoms of classification, Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia, we see that only Monera is prokaryote. Others are eukaryote. Okay. So the question is, which among the following is not a prokaryote, right? So if any organism comes under all 4 kingdoms, but not Monera, then we can say that that is not prokaryote. So let's look at it. The first option is Saccharomyces. Saccharomyces is yeast. It is what? It is a fungus. Fungus, right? So it will come under fungi kingdom. And the fungi kingdom, they are eukaryotes. So this is our answer. It is not prokaryotes. Other than that, all these are prokaryotes, comes under Monera kingdom. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is from NEET 2019. The question says, which of the following statements is incorrect? We have to find out the incorrect statement. The first statement says, yeasts have filamentous bodies with long thread-like hyphae. Yeast, it is a fungus. That is true. And fungus do have filamentous hyphae. But in case of yeast, it is unicellular fungus. It only has one cell. So it does not have any filamentous body or any thread-like structure. It is just one cell, making the whole organism. So this is the incorrect option. Let's look at the other options as well. The second option says morels and truffles are edible delicacies. So we have learned about it in the last video that morels and truffles, these are edible fungus, right? The third option is claviceps is a source of many alkaloid and LSD. So we also learned about this, that claviceps, we can produce alkaloids from claviceps. This is also correct. Conidia are produced exogenously and ascospores are endogenously. This is also correct because conidia, it is an asexual spore, right? So it looks something like this. This is the conidiophore. This is the conidiophore, the special mycelium on which the conidia, these are the conidia. These are the conidia. These are arranged exogenously. And the ascospores, they have ascus, that is the sac, inside which the ascospores are produced, that is endogenously. So this is also correct. So only the incorrect statement is statement number 1. Let's move on. Okay. Here, the question is from NEET 2024. The question says, match list 1 with list 2. We have 2 lists here. Let's find out. The first one is Rhizopus, Ustilago, Puccinia, and Agaricus. And the second list has mushroom, smart fungus, bread mold, and rust fungus. So we have to match it, right? So Rhizopus, we have already learned that Rhizopus is bread mold, right? Okay. Ustilago, this is smart fungus. We have already learned about it. Puccinia, this is what? This causes wheat rust, rust-like fungus in wheat. So this is the rust fungus. And the agaricus, it is what? It is mushroom. It is basidiomycetes. So option number 1 is correct. Let's move on to the next one. This question came in NEET 2024. It says, which one of the following is not a criterion for classification of fungus or fungi? So what is not a criteria to classify fungus, right? So let's find out. The option number 1 says morphology of the mycelium. Morphology is responsible for classification, like which fungus morphologically different from other will come under different classification of fungus. So this is not the answer. Mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition of all the fungus is almost same, that is saprophytic, parasitic, or symbiotic, like that. Most of them are saprophytic. So on the basis of nutrition, we do not divide the fungus into different classes. The third one, mode of spore formation. What kind of spores they form, like asexual spore, sexual spore, what kind of asexual spore they are producing. On the basis of that, suppose ascomycetes. Ascomycetes. They are ascomycetes because they produce sexual spore that is inside ascus, that is a sac. That is why we call this ascomycetes, because it produces ascus they produce spores inside the ascus. That is why the name. So on the basis of mode of spore formation, we do classify fungi. Fruiting body. What kind of fruiting body they are producing? If they are producing ascocarp or they are producing basidiocarp, on the basis of that, we do classify. So only mode of nutrition is not a criteria for classification of fungi. So this is the answer. So that's all. हमने PYQ डिस्कस कर लिया फंजाई का. तो नेक्स्ट वीडियो में हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे इस चैप्टर में जो भी बाकी है, जैसे कि वायरस, प्रायन, वायरॉइड, इसके बारे में हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे और इस चैप्टर को कंप्लीट करेंगे. अच्छा, और अगर कोई भी कंफ्यूजन है, कोई क्वेश्चन है, तो यू कैन आस्क मी, यू कैन कमेंट अंडर दिस वीडियो एंड आई विल डिस्कस इन द नेक्स्ट videos when I'm going to discuss some questions. Okay. ओके, बाय बाय, सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट वीडियो।